Hello everyone, this is Teacher Juvie and I will be your guide for today's lesson.
For today's lesson, we will discuss how to add and subtract simple fractions and mixed numbers. So, fractions. Fractions are similar if they have the same denominator, and if it is dissimilar if they have different denominators. So, let's have some examples of similar and dissimilar fractions. Okay, so identify the following fractions if they are similar or dissimilar. So we have 2/3 and 1/3. So is this a similar or dissimilar fraction? Okay, correct. So this is similar fractions because they have the same denominators. Okay, next, 3/4 and 1/4. 3/4 and 1/4 are similar fractions because they have the same denominator, which is 4. Next are 4/7 and 7/8. Are these fractions similar or dissimilar? So these are dissimilar fractions because they have different denominators, which are 7 and 8. Okay, another pair of fractions are 2/5 and 5/11. So 2/5 and 5/11 are dissimilar fractions because they have different denominators, which are 5 and 11. Okay, another pair of fractions are 7/13 and 7/9. So these are dissimilar fractions because their denominators are 13 and 9, which are different. Since you already know how to identify similar and dissimilar fractions, we may now proceed on the rules in adding or subtracting similar fractions. So, start muna tayo doon sa pag-a-add ng similar fractions. So, these are the rules. So, we have to add or subtract the numerators and copy the same denominators. Then, we may simplify the resulting fraction if necessary. So, we're going to apply these rules in adding or subtracting similar fractions. So, let's have the first example. We have 3/5 plus 1/5. So, kung nakikita nyo, they are similar fractions. So, ang gagawin lang natin is i-add natin ang numerators. Ang numerator, ito yung upper part ng fraction. Okay, so part siya ng fraction, di ba? So, 3 plus 1, that is 4. Then, we will just copy the same denominators. So, 5 is the denominator, so kokopyahin nyo lang siya. So, we have 4/5. Simplify the resulting fraction if necessary. Since ang 4/5 ay nakasimplify na or already relatively prime, so hindi na natin siya kailangan pang i-lowest term. So this is now the final answer, 4/5. So let's have another example for subtracting similar fractions. So we have 7/9 minus 3/9. So again, the rule is we have to subtract first the numerator, then we will copy the same denominator. So 7 minus 3 is 4, and copy the same denominator, which is 9, so we have 4/9. Then simplify the resulting fraction if necessary. So kung maaari na or kung pwede pa siyang isi-simplify nyo. But since ang 4/9 ay relatively prime or wala nang pwedeng mag-divide sa 4 and 9, therefore, ang 4/9 ang ating final answer. Okay, so madali lang mag-add and subtract ng similar fractions. So ano naman yung rules natin when we add or subtract the similar fractions? So we have different rules. So first, we have to change the fractions to similar fractions. Paano? Gagawin natin silang equivalent fractions by finding their LCD. Then, we may now apply the rules of adding or subtracting similar fractions kasi similar na sila, 'di ba? So ang goal muna natin is gawin silang similar. Okay, so pag nagawa na natin silang similar, pwede na natin i-apply yung rules dun sa adding and subtracting similar fractions. Then yung third, lagi naman kapag kailangang i-simplify natin. Okay, so let's have the first example. Okay, so let's have this example. We have 3/5 plus 7/10. So as you can see, they have the similar denominator, so we consider them as dissimilar fractions. So ang rule natin is i-change muna natin itong dissimilar fractions into similar fractions by finding their LCD. So ang LCD ng 5 and 10 ay 10. 'Di ba? So ito na yung pinaka least common na denominator. So ang gagawin natin to find the new numerator, so i-divide natin itong 10 sa 5. 10 divided by 5. Then, yung sagot doon, i-multiply natin sa 3. Okay, so 10 divided by 5 is 2. Then, multiply sa 3, that is 6. So, 6/10 na ang equivalent fraction ng 3/5. At itong 7/10, hindi na natin kailangang kunin yung kanyang bagong numerator kasi nga ang kanyang denominator na is 10. Then, napapansin nyo, similar fraction na sila, pwede na nating i-apply yung rule natin sa pag-add ng similar fractions. So again, paano yung rule? We will just add the numerator and copy the same denominator. So 6 plus 7 is 13. Then copy the same denominator, which is 10. So 13 over 10. Ang 13 over 10 is an example of improper fractions. So, improper fraction siya kasi mas malaki ang numerator kaysa sa denominator. So, kailangan natin siyang gawing mixed number kasi yun yung simplified form niya. Okay, so, ang mixed number ng 13 over 10 ay 1 and 3/10. So, this is now the final answer. So, when we add 3/5 plus 7/10, so the answer is 1 and 3/10. Okay, so let's now apply what we have learned on our lesson. So, we have to perform the indicated operations. So, let's have the first fractions. 5/7 minus 2/7. So, they are similar fractions. So, i-apply lang natin dito yung rule in subtracting similar fractions, wherein we subtract the numerator and copy the same denominator. So, 5 minus 2 ay 3 and copy the same denominator, which is 7. Then, simplify your answer if necessary or if possible. So, ang 3 over 7 is already simplified. So, ito na yung ating final answer. Next, 9/10 plus 3/10. So, they are similar fractions. So, apply the rule in adding similar fractions. So, add the numerator, 9 plus 3. So, that is 12. And copy the same denominator, which is 10. Then, simplify your answer if necessary. Since ang 12/10 ay pwede pa nating isimplify dahil ang kanyang GCF ay 2. So, i-divide natin siya sa 2. Okay, so, pag sinabing GCF, ito yung number or greatest common factor na pwedeng i-divide dun sa numerator and denominator. Okay? So, 12 divided by 2 is 6 and 10 divided by 2 ay 5. And ang 6/5 ay improper fraction. So, again, paano natin isi-simplify ang improper fraction? So, we need to convert that fraction into mixed number. So, ang mixed number ng 6/5 or equivalent ng 6/5 sa mixed number ay 1 and 1/5. So, paano natin kinukuha ang mixed number equivalent nitong 6/5? So, ang gagawin lang natin is i-divide natin yung 6 by 5. So, makakuha tayo dun ng 1. 'Di ba? So, may makukuha tayong isang buo dun. Then, ibabawas natin yung ating nakuhang isang buo. So, 6 minus 5, that is 1. And, ang ating divisor na 5, ang ating magiging denominator. So, we come up with 1 and 1/5. So, meron din tayo dyang rule or process paano mag-convert ng improper fraction to mixed number. Okay, next. Number 3, 3/4 minus 2/3. So, these are dissimilar fractions, so we have to change these first into similar fractions. So, again, paano makukuha or ma-change itong fractions sa similar fractions? We have to find their LCD or the least common denominator. So, the LCD of 4 and 3 is 12. Okay, so, para makuha naman natin yung kanyang bagong numerator, ang gagawin natin is we will divide the LCD dito sa numerator as denominator ng unang fraction natin or ng ating minuend. Okay, so 12 divided by 4 is 3. Then multiply natin sa numerator. So 3 times 3 is 9. So 9 is the new numerator. Okay, next. Dito naman sa ating subtrahend, 12 divided by 3 is 4. Then multiplied by 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So this is now the new numerator for 2/3. So the equivalent fraction of 3/4 is 9/12. And the equivalent fraction for 2/3 is 8/12. So we can now proceed on subtracting similar fractions. So 9 minus 8 is 1 and copy the same denominator, which is 12. Then simplify the fraction if necessary. So since 1/12 is already relatively prime, so no need to simplify. So this is now the final answer. Okay, next. Number 4 is 5/6 plus 1/7. So again, they are dissimilar fractions, so we need to change this first into equivalent or equivalent fraction by finding their LCD. Okay, so ang LCD ng 6 at 7 ay 42. So to find the new numerator, so we have to divide the LCD dito sa denominator ng ating minuend. So 42 divided by 6 is 7, then multiplied sa numerator na 5, so that is 35. Okay, so sa ating subtrahend naman, 42 divided by 7 is 6, then times 1, that is 6. Then we can now proceed on the rule of adding similar fractions. 35 plus 6 is 41 and copy the same denominator, which is 42. So the final answer now is 41/42 since hindi na siya pwedeng i-simplify. So lagyan natin ng box ang ating final answer. So let's now proceed on adding and subtracting mixed numbers. So mixed number, ito yung may magkakahalo, kaya nga mixed. Meron siyang whole number and a proper fraction. So how can we add or subtract mixed numbers? So these are the rules. So we have to add or subtract the whole numbers and also add or subtract the fractional part. So let's have an example. So for example, we have 1 3/5 plus 2 1/5. So we have to add first the whole part, yung buo dyan, yung 1 and 2, yung whole number. So we have 1 plus 2, then i-add natin yung fractional part, so 3/5 plus 1/5. Since they are similar fractions naman, so we can now proceed on the rule. So 1 plus 2 is 3, then 3 plus 1 is 4, and copy the same denominator. So 3 plus 4/5, so the answer is 3 and 4/5. So that is how we add similar mixed fractions. Okay, so next example, what if we encounter this kind of series of operations? So we have 2 1/4 plus 3 1/2 minus 2 1/3. So ang gagawin natin is i-add muna natin and isa-subtract yung mga whole number. Diba? So 2 plus 3 minus 2. Yun yung ating tanggalin natin sa equation yung mga whole number. So pagsamasamahin natin sila. 2 plus 3 minus 2. Then add natin, pagsamasamahin naman natin yung mga fractional parts. So we have 1/4 plus 1/2 minus 1/3. Okay, so perform the operations 2 plus 3, 5 minus 2, that is 3. Plus, since ang ating mga fractional parts ay dissimilar fractions, so we need to change this into equivalent fractions by finding their LCD. So the LCD of 4, 2, and 3 ay 12. And to get the new numerators, we have to divide the LCD dito sa mga denominators. Then, i-multiply natin sa numerators. So, 12 divided by 4 is 3. 3 times 1, that is 3. Okay, so next, 12 divided by 2 is 6 times 1, so 6. Then, last, 12 divided by 3 is 4 times 1, that is 4. Okay, so, again, since similar fractions na sila, pwede na nating i-perform ang mga operations. So, 3 pa rin siya. Then, add natin yung numerator na 3 and 6, so we have 9. Then, subtract natin sa 4, 9 minus 4, that is 5. And copy the same denominator, which is 12. So, the final answer now is 3 and 5 over 12. Have another example. So, 3 and 2/5 minus 3/4 plus 5 1/2. So, ang gagawin muna natin is, isa-isayin muna natin sila. So, una muna nating i-perform ang 3 and 2/5 minus 3/4. So, 3 and 2/5 minus 3/4, since they are dissimilar fractions, so we have to find the LCD to make it similar fraction. So, ang LCD ng 5 and 4 is 20. So, since yung ating subtrahend ay wala namang whole number, so, iaabang na natin yung 3 dito. So we have the LCD that is 20. Then, to get the numerator or the new numerator, we have to divide the LCD by the denominator of our original fraction. So, 20 divided by 5 is 4. Then, i-multiply natin sa numerator, that is times 2. So, the answer is 8. So, we have the new numerator, which is 8. Then, 20 divided by 4 is 5. Multiplied by 3, so the answer is 15. So, kung papansinin nyo, if we perform subtraction, we cannot subtract 15 from 8. So, mas maliit ang ating minuend kumpara sa ating sinasubtract na 15 na subtrahend. So, anong dapat nating gawin? Kailangan, kapag ganyan yung inyong na-encounter, we have to rename. Kailangan nating gawin yung pagre-rename. So, itong whole number nating 3, i-rename natin siya. So, paano mag-rename ng whole number? Babawasan natin ng isang buo yung ating 3. So, magiging 2 na lang siya. Diba? So, yung ating isang buo, dahil ang ating denominator naman ay 20, so, 20 over 20 na. So, pag inad natin yan, 2 plus 20 over 20, 20 over 20 is equivalent to 1 whole, diba? So, 2 plus 1 whole is 3. So, binago lang natin yung anyo ng 3. Nirename natin siya, naging 2 plus 20 over 20. Tapos, plus natin yung ating 8 over 20. Then, minus 15 over 20. So, pagsamahin natin ngayon yung 2 plus 20 over 20 plus 8 over 20. So, ang makuha natin dyan ay 2 and 28 over 20. Then, saka natin ibabawas na yung ating 15 over 20. So, pwede na siyang pag-minusen dahil mas maliit na or mas maliit ng ating subtrahend sa minuend. So, 28 minus 15 is 13, then isulat natin yung whole number na 2 and copy the same denominator. So, we have 2 and 13 over 20. So, yan pa lang yung sagot natin para dun sa sa dalawang pinag-minus natin, yung 3 and 2/5 minus 3/4. So, may natira pa tayong i-add na 5 and a half. Okay, so let's continue the process. So, meron tayong nakuhang sagot kanina doon sa 3 and 2/5 minus 3/4 na 2 and 13 over 20. So, i-continue natin, i-add naman natin yung 5 and a half. So, again, they are dissimilar fractions, so we have to change these fractions into similar fractions by finding the LCD or making it equivalent fraction. So, since ang ang LCD ng 20 at 2 ay 20. At yung ating 2 and 13 over 20, hindi na natin kukunin yung kanyang equivalent fraction dahil ang denominator na niya ay 20. So, ito na lamang 5 and a half. So, to get the new numerator, i-divide natin yung LCD na 20 dito sa denominator na 2. So, 20 divided by 2 is 10, then multiplied by 1. So, 10 times 1, so ang bago nating numerator ay 10. Okay, so pwede na nating pagsamahin since they have the same denominators. So, 2 plus 5 ay 7. Unahin nyo munang i-add yung mga whole number. 2 plus 5, 7. Then, add natin yung numerator na 13 at 10. 13 plus 10 is 23 over 20. Okay, so kung papansinin nyo, ang 7 and 23 over 20, ang 23 over 20 ay naka-improper fraction. So, para i-simplify natin siya, kailangan nating i-change ang 23 over 20 sa mixed number. Paano gagawin? I-divide lang natin yung 23 sa 20. Ilan bang 20 ang makuha natin sa 23? O, diba? Isa lang. Then, ilan yung natira doon sa 23 kapag binawas natin yung 20? E di 3. So, magiging 7 plus may isang buo tayong nakuha plus yung natira na 3 at yung denominator natin na 20. So, pagsamahin natin, 7 plus 1 ay 8 and copy yung ating proper fraction na 3 over 20. So, 8 and 3 over 20. So, this is now the final answer for 3 and 2/5 minus 3/4 plus 5 and 1/2. Okay, so marami pa tayong example dito. So, we have 2/5 plus 6 and 3 over 7 minus 2 and 2/3. So, unahin muna natin itong dalawang fraction, yung 2/5 plus 6 and 3 over 7. So, again, kunin natin ang LCD dahil sila ay magkaiba ng denominator. So, ang LCD ng 5 at 7 ay 35 and get the new numerator by dividing the LCD by the denominator and multiplied by the numerator. So, 35 divided by 5 is 7 times 2. So, the answer is 14. Sulat nyo dito. Then, next process, 35 divided by 7 is 5 multiplied by 3. So, that is 15. So, we can now proceed on adding similar fractions. So, ang whole number ay 6. So, we have 6. Then, add the numerators, 14 plus 15, so we have 29, and copy the same denominator, that is 35. So, the answer is 6 and 29 over 35. So, para lang yan doon sa 2/5 plus 6 and 3, 7. So, i-continue naman natin yung pag-minus dito sa 2 and 2/3. Okay, so let's continue the process. 6 and 29 over 35, yung ating nakuhang sagot dito sa 2/5 plus 6 and 3, 7. Minusan natin siya ng 2 and 2/3. So, kung papansinin nyo, they are dissimilar fractions, so we have to change, we have to get the equivalent fractions by finding the LCD of 35 and 3. So, ang LCD ng 35 at 3 ay 105. Then, i-minus na natin yung whole number, yung 6 and 2. So, 6 minus 2, may nakaabang na dyan, na 4. Then, kunin natin yung bagong numerator. So, 105 divided by 35. So, that is 3. Then, times natin sa 29, we will get 87. Then, next, 105 divided by 3. So, the answer is 35 times 2. So, we have 70. So, 6 minus 2 is 4. And subtract natin, proceed on subtracting similar fractions. So, we have 87 minus 70. So, we will get 17 over 105. So, this is now the final answer. Wala na siyang simplified or hindi na siya pwedeng i-simplify dahil ang 17 over 105 is relatively prime na. Ibig sabihin, wala nang number na pwedeng mag-divide sa kanilang dalawa. Okay, so let's take note of this. There are cases that the fractional parts cannot be subtracted. That is, meaning when this is smaller than the subtrahend. If it happens, you can apply regrouping. Regrouping means you need to borrow 1 from a whole number to make the fraction of the minuend larger than the fraction of the subtrahend. So, ito yung tinawag natin kaninang renaming. So, other terms din is regrouping. So, kapag ang ating minuend ay mas maliit kumpara dun sa ating subtrahend, hindi natin siya pwedeng isubtract. Kailangan munang palalakihin muna natin dapat yung ating minuend para mabawasan siya. Kasi pag hindi, negative yung ating magiging sagot doon, di ba? Okay, so mag-try tayo ng example na kailangan nating mag-rename ng fraction. So, nagawa na natin siya kanina. Magbigay ulit tayo ng another example. So, we have 4 and 1/5 minus 2 and 3/5. So, they are similar fractions. So, kung papansinin nyo, ang ating minuend na 4 and 1/5, ang numerator na 1 ay mas maliit kumpara sa numerator ng ating subtrahend na 3. So, ang gagawin natin, we have to rename or regroup this minuend. So, yung 4, babawasan natin ng 1. Okay? So, magiging 3 and 5/5 na. Ginamit natin yung denominator na 5 as a full number, diba? Para mabuo. Kasi yun naman yung denominator na ginagamit natin eh. So, 3 plus 1 whole, syempre, that is 4. Then, wag natin kakalimutang i-add yung ating proper fraction na katabi ng ating whole number. So, magiging 3 and 6/5 na siya. Then, pwede na natin ngayong ibawas ang ating subtrahend na 2 and 3/5. Kasi, mas malaki na yung minuend natin, diba? Yung 6 ay mas malaki kumpara sa 3. Kaya, pwede na natin gawin ang pagbabawas. So, 3 minus 2, that is 1. And 6 minus 3, so the answer is 3. And copy the same denominator, which is 5. So, the final answer is 1 and 3/5. So, hindi na rin natin siya pwedeng i-simplify dahil siya ay naka-simplest form na.
Thanks for watching this video. Hit like if you learned from this video and don't forget to subscribe on my channel. Thank you so much.